from the Instagram account of Native Land Pod and a handful of others, I believe the host. And if you're not familiar with the Native Land podcast, then thank your lucky stars. These people are absolutely terrible. They are race baiters to the max, to the extreme, on steroids, whatever you want to call it. They are a cog in the machine. They get a huge boost from the Apple Podcast algorithm. And one of the hosts is Tiffany Cross, who I believe used to work for MSNBC but got fired because she was even too extreme for them. So think about that. Another one of the hosts is Angela Rye, or as I like to call her, Angela Cry, who I believe was among the first to claim that the MAGA hat is the same thing as a Klan hood, and I'm so triggered.
But this Make America Great Again hat is just as maddening and frustrating and triggering for me to look at as a KKK hood.
It's completely despicable. And of course, the tinsel bottom bikini fallout with Fredo Cuomo. And lastly, Andrew Gillum, who of course ran for governor in Florida. They dodged that bullet. And he has blocked me on Instagram because I had the audacity to remember the time when he was caught shacking up with a couple of male prostitutes and doing liquid boner pills in a hotel after the governor's race.
Police encounter a man barely dressed, if at all. You can make out what appears to be Miami Beach fire rescue medics moving around the room. At one point, police direct what appears to be a nude man to the bathroom. He's questioned and later takes a seat. The call came in about a suspected drug overdose. Andrew Gillum, husband, father, and rising star in the Democratic Party, the first black nominee of a major party when he ran for Florida governor, was one of 3 men found inside that hotel room. Police say Aldo Mejias came back to the room where he found Gillum and Travis Dyson under the influence of an unknown substance. Gillum, who'd reportedly been found vomiting in the bathroom, was later allowed to leave the hotel to go home. Police also released these photos showing the mess left behind: stained pillowcases and sheets, pills and bottles of pills spilled in various places. Police also removed what they suspected to be 3 small bags of crystal meth. Police say those suspected drugs were eventually impounded. No criminal charges were ever filed, and Gillum claimed he was here in South Florida for a wedding.
But my name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
It would help me a lot and cost you nothing. But if you wanted to help me even more and spend a tiny bit of money, you would buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description. But they say, you might not be a racist, but the racists think you're a racist. So this is what they do. Same thing with Kamala Harris. Joe, I don't think you're a racist, but...
I do not believe you are a racist. And I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of 2 United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country.
And it's really irrelevant whether they believe it or not, but this is their chance to use the word racist as many times as humanly possible. And the caption here says, NLP fam, it feels timely to run back that iconic moment when our very own Andrew Gillum, who of course has blocked me, dropped his iconic racist bar during the historic Florida gubernatorial debate in 2018 with Ron DeSantis.
I'm not calling Mr. DeSantis a racist. I'm simply saying the racists believe he's a racist.
I will say that there's not much I wouldn't change anything about that question, that response. But I will say everyone wanted to ask me something about race. Mm-hmm. And I bit every time.
Did they? Did everyone want to ask you a question about race? And obviously he knew he had that line planned. He loved it. Well, I'm not saying you're a racist, but the racists think you're a racist. So now you've said the word racist several times and are pretending that the entirety, a whole bunch of people in Florida are big, scary, mean racists. And I'm sure there's a lot of mean, terrible people out there, but why are you and now I get it, that was 2018, so several years ago, but they have beat this dead horse into a paste.
And what I, in retrospect, probably would have thought a little bit more through is I think I would have used maybe those occasions more often to point out what this man's record and what he would have done.
Yeah, you should have done it. You should have pointed out his record, but you didn't. I wonder why.
to people of color, to minorities, to the majority of people in the state of Florida, rather than allowing his statements and his hatred and
his hatred, and it's all obviously completely made up. But I would be willing to bet money that if you go to several hoods in Florida, they're not going to be really angry at Ron DeSantis and call him a racist.
vitriol to sort of live, a little bit longer, either in that segment or beyond.
Okay, so there he is, remembering the time when he dropped the mic on Ron DeSantis, and of course, thankfully, he did not win that governor's race. But if you wanted to run it back, if you wanted to look back at some of the things that Andrew Gillum has done, why don't you start with this? From the Daily Mail, exclusive, baggies of crystal meth, empty Corona bottles, and soiled bedding. These are the sordid images of the raucous hotel party that sent Florida Democrat Andrew Gillum to rehab and left male escort hospitalized. And that's exactly why he blocked me, because he's going on this podcast every other day and talking nonsense. And I said, oh, do you remember that time when you got caught with a couple male hookers, which I guess wouldn't really be a problem, except for he's married with like 3 kids. And look, this is a really long article. Shout out to the Daily Mail for always having the longest titles and wrap-ups at the beginning of the article in the entire media landscape. And it's all completely disgusting. So there's plastic baggies of suspected crystal meth, some more pills, the mess in the room, more of the mess, one of the dudes he was shacked up with. And here, I believe, is the most important part, right? So it's crazy how they want to, it's about time that we run it back. Okay, well, why don't you run it back to this shortly after the Florida gubernatorial race, when he was caught, Andrew Gillum, the one who blocked me, was caught in a Florida hotel room with several male prostitutes shooting liquid boner pills, right? There's also a small bottle of injectable medicine containing alprostadil, whatever, which is typically used to treat erectile dysfunction and should never be mixed with alcohol. Pictured right is a toiletry bag inside the hotel room with prescription pills. So I wonder, are you going to cover that? Are you going to run it back? Are you going to remember the time when this guy was caught in a hotel room with several male prostitutes in the entire state of Florida, dodged this bullet that you were trying to foist on the people? Are you going to remember that?
Andrew Gillum, husband, father, and rising star in the Democratic Party, the first black nominee of a major party when he ran for Florida governor.